What's going on, guys? Welcome to August's episode of Plus Club, the show where we play the games offered to us on PlayStation Plus throughout the month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And we will be talking about Wipeout, Omega Collection, Sniper Elite 4 in a sec, but before that, we're moving into a new month, and luckily, they've already announced the PlayStation Plus games for September, so we will be playing Batman, Arkham Knight, and Darksiders 3, which is really kind of interesting, because Darksiders 3 came out like this year.
Yes.
I think it was this year or late last year. I don't remember, but it's pretty recent. What do you guys think about those games?
Isn't Arkham Knight the third one?
Yeah.
I haven't played that one yet, so that works for me.
I got it free with one of my video cards when the game came out.
You did with your 970.
And I played it a little bit, and it was good looking. I don't remember the game. I didn't play it very much.
I think it's the one where they did a lot of focus on the Batmobile.
Yeah, and some people hated it. Some people liked it.
Well, find out what we think at the end of next month.
Yeah.
And then Darksiders 3, like, we played Darksiders 2, I think, also, so it'll be interesting to see the differences.
We've played both of them now through PlayStation Plus. I think I own all those games.
I don't remember playing the first one.
Could have swore.
My brain also doesn't retain things, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
I think it's going to be a pretty good month because Batman's going to be good. You know, Rocksteady's a great developer. They've earned their keep as a, one of those developers. You hear they're making a game, you're interested. And then Darksiders 3, I've had a curiosity about. I almost want to pick it up a couple times, but it had like okay reviews, and I'm already not the biggest Darksiders fan, so I just didn't pull the trigger. So now I will get to play it. So I'm excited.
I find it interesting that they're both like the third game in their series.
Yeah.
Weird little coincidence, possibly. But
also
Batman,
both third-person long-form fucking games.
Batman, I'm kind of like, okay, cool, Batman. I've heard some bad things. I've heard some good things about it. I'm actually excited to play Darksiders because I like the first two. Even though I know they're not like the most phenomenal games, I enjoy playing them.
Yeah. Yeah. And you haven't played this one?
No.
Cool. Yeah. So we will be talking about that next month. Also, quick reminder, game of the month. We will be talking about that very soon. Ori and the Blind Forest randomly picked. And Chevy gets to pick his game of the month for next month on that episode. So stay tuned. We'll be talking about that game. Let us know your opinion on that, and wait to see what Chevy picks for game of the month next month. I am fucking going crazy trying to figure it out because he's
tell me now.
He's dropping hints and shit, and I'm just like, ugh, it's like Christmas. We got a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time, and we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you'd prefer to listen to us. I just put my notes away and instantly forgot what games we played. So I was like, I need those notes. So as you guys know, if you follow the channel, this month has been a fucking roller coaster. Chris is back, which is great because he hasn't been here he hasn't been here so much this month that he wasn't on last month's game of the month, and he hasn't been on the show since. So it's been all month. So I'm glad to have you back.
Yay.
And can't wait to have this conversation. So
My life has been so empty.
Yeah. So August, we played Wipeout Omega Collection, Sniper Elite 4. Let's talk about Wipeout Omega Collection. If you didn't get a chance to play that, you should have, because it is a remake of the last two Wipeout games that came out, which was Wipeout HD and Wipeout like 2048 or some shit. So they took all the tracks and maps, put it into this game, and it is essentially a third to first person futuristic pod racer / fucking kart racer racing game where you go around tracks, you acquire fucking items, you shoot each other, you put shields up. It's high octane, fast paced. You're going like sideways on turns and shit, and it's pretty crazy. We all played it this month, and I'll go first. I'm gonna jump in. So let's jump into impressions. Just because I always like to kind of put it out there. I picked this game up a while back before this month, just because I was looking up PSVR games worth playing, and it always showed up in like top 5 because it's actually a pretty decent looking game in VR. And it's a full game. That's kind of still rare when it comes to VR games. So I have played this in the past, and I played it only in VR then. I, for some reason, didn't even think about it as a fucking not VR game. This time around, I pretty much only played it in VR. As soon as I was like, oh, I got to play that for this month, I hooked up my VR. Like, my brain's like, it's a VR game. So, I played it mostly in VR. And, it's pretty much more of the same of what I'm used to, and I'll get into that in a sec. But then pretty close to today, as of recording, I was like, I should probably try that game, not in VR, because that's what most people are going to play it like, and I should probably have an opinion on that. And for the most part, it feels like most PlayStation 2 era racing games. You're in hover vehicles, driving around real fast, crazy electronic music, and you're shooting missiles and a lot of crazy effects, a lot of like shortcuts and stuff that you'd expect from arcade racers back in the day. And it's overall really fun. I really dig it. Oddly enough, as I was playing, I'm like, this is like PlayStation's Mario Kart. This is weird. Of course, there's other Mario Kart games out there that Sony had. But like I was playing, I'm like, without like the character sitting in a cart, I'm pretty much going around track just shooting fucking red shells at people and shit. So it's just funny to kind of revisit a game like that does not look like other kart racers, and I would not call it a kart racer, but still gave me like a similar vibe to that. But yeah, overall though, I do prefer to play this game in VR. I think it actually feels better in VR, even though there's a lot of settings in this game that at first try and protect you from VR. Like the side of your racer will be closed off so you don't get, I guess people get sick with more, like I was watching John Carmack on Joe Rogan today, and he was talking about VR because he works on Oculus. He's like the lead designer on it, and he was talking about how like more screen in VR makes more sickness. So less screen, less you see, the less sick you get. I was like, that's really interesting, because there's other things I would also kind of speculate on to make you sick as well. But makes sense. Made me think of Wipeout, because like I said, by default, you're in the cockpit. You can look around and stuff, but the sides are kind of like shut, like the windows are, and you just see ahead of you. And at first I'm like, that kind of is a limiting fucking view. So I went to the options. You can turn that off. I'm a seasoned vet when it comes to VR, and if I start feeling sick, I just don't care. I just push through. And I got rid of those fucking windows, and then the perspective will lock you in to the seat and the road, but the vehicle moves independently. So you can still freely look around, but you're not moving with the vehicle. And I was like, fuck that. I want immersion. So I turn it on to I'm in the vehicle as well. So then my perspective is moving sideways and shit while I'm freely looking around like I'm flying a goddamn jet. And it is wild. And for the first like 2 minutes, I was like, I feel kind of sick. I'm pretty good about it. So, but you get used to it. Just like I assume all hardened real life jet pilots do. So I'm just like them. You heard it here first.
Minus the G's.
Yeah. Those G's would fucking knock me out. Yeah, so I obviously just all this that I'm saying, I prefer playing in VR. I think it looks better, the normal version, but the VR actually looks really decent. I really like the way it looks for a VR game. And just, you can play this game first person already, but playing it VR first person, one thing I love about racing in VR is just like in real life, if you're like coming around a corner, you can actually look to the right and kind of like gauge how you're coming at that corner. Whereas like with the controller, you can move the joystick, which I do a lot in racing games, but like for the most part, you're just kind of looking straight and following the fucking car. And in VR, it's a lot more immersive to be able to look and like as you're coming around a corner, fucking have your head like this, looking at people and shit. So it's really fun that way. Yeah, and then just real quick, I love the amount of unlockable vehicles. I love the amount of unlockable tracks. A lot of stuff to do in this game. I primarily just played the campaign and did not play any multiplayer because in a game like this, I don't want to get that frustrated. And yeah, this game also is difficult. It gets really challenging later in the game. You have to really utilize all of your tools to win. I mean, there's modes where you have to just kill people as much as you can. They are relentless and they unload on you. So yeah, I overall enjoyed this game though.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you said, except I didn't play it in VR.
And you're not a jet pilot.
I'm not a jet pilot, so I can't agree with that one either. However, I do think this is a really fun game. It is very, like you said, high octane. The pace is much faster than I was ready for when I first started playing it because I was like half asleep. I'm like, I got to play this game this month. Here we go. And then I was just crashing and everything. I was like, I got to do this when I'm more awake. So came back to it, played it a little more when I was a little more awake. Like you said, I really appreciate the amount of unlockables and the fact that the game isn't holding your hand. It is a difficult game, and not to the point where like I want to pull my hair out, but just enough where I'm like, I could do better. And
Yeah.
you reload and try again. So I think that's really important in games like this. It's a big reason I love it. Like, this is gonna be a weird example, but like Trials, the big thing that game offers is like you get like a little better every time you redo it. So I kind of get that feeling with this game, especially when you know, the courses have multiple ways you can go, and some of them are better for certain types of vehicles. If you're an attack vehicle, you usually want more of like the straightforward path, versus if you're in a speedy agility one, you want those offshoots that have all the speed boost to kind of just fly through there. So,
Especially because like when you hit walls in this game, it'll slow you down unless you have your shields up.
or
And
just
there's also
stop you sometimes.
there's
Yeah.
also an autopilot mode that at first I'm like, that's kind of lame. Like why does this have an autopilot? It's so nothing gets in your way. You get down the course from the point you use it perfectly, which, because when you hit walls in the game, it's a huge detriment to you.
Huge.
So just like I started using like agility based vehicles way more than like more armored ones, because I wasn't hitting walls as much.
Yeah.
And that was driving me fucking insane.
Yeah,
The
so
game's very unforgiving in that sense.
I also preferred the agility style ones over the armored ones. I really wanted to do one of the weapon ones because the handling was supposedly better on it, and I did not find that to be true at all.
Liars.
I was running into things way too often. Was struggling to get into even the top like 5 placement with the armored ones, versus like at least with the agility ones, I was in the top like 3 to 4 consistently on my first try on a track, just because I had more options. Also, I really appreciate, it's pretty common, I guess, in games that have like hover stuff in them anyways, but the shoulder buttons being able to like help you take a little extra in your turns. I don't know how to explain it really. Kind of like pops you to the side.
Yeah, the triggers will turn you harder.
Yeah.
Which is good in certain instances, but not always.
Oh, it could fuck you up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can turn really hard sometimes.
Yeah. Other than that, I think the courses are great. I love. It reminds me of Nintendo 64 days, where you're just going
Yep.
up walls, down, doing spirals, all sorts of shit. It's a blast to look at. If you are motion sick,
Chris does not agree.
If you get motion sick easy, you might not like this game.
VR. You're definitely not gonna like it.
And I think the music's completely fitting. I honestly, I can't think of anything about the game I don't like, other
Except
than
for the first song. Bum 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 bum.
I think
I'm like, okay.
I think the hardest thing for me on this game is it's not something I want to play all the time. But yeah, it is for what it is. I think it's great. So
Yeah. And just to add on to that, it is a game I never think about, really. And not in like an insulting way, but when I have my PSVR hooked up, it's one of the first games I go to. So in my head, it's more of a novelty game for PSVR. Sadly, Ace Combat became that for me. It only has 3 levels in VR, but they're so fucking good that like when I have the VR set up, I'm just like, I gotta fucking play that. So disappointing that they only have 3 levels. It's so good. Chris.
I do not have VR, so I did not get that experience in this game. But I did play a few tracks here and there in the campaign mode, and I unlocked a couple of cars. And I don't know if I was playing the same game as you guys, because I had like a very bland experience. It feels like it just personally felt like it didn't have much flavor or identity beyond like maybe like, oh, here's a light version of the car and here's a heavy version of the car. There's nothing wrong with the game. It just didn't grasp my attention.
Mhm.
The power-ups felt like null and void most of the time to me. Like even if I shot someone, they didn't do anything. Nothing really felt substantial in like controls other than like, I could tap the shoulder buttons and spin myself out of fucking control.
That, yeah, depending on what vehicle you're using. I've dealt with that.
And I tend to shift more towards the agile cards. I tried the slower car, and it was just the heavy armored card. It was just atrocious.
Oh yeah.
I could not. It was just I came in last. There was nothing I could do, and it just felt so unmemorable to me overall. It's not this is a bad game. I just don't see myself ever coming back to play it again because it doesn't grasp me.
It just felt generic.
It felt very generic, very
Yeah.
much like you said, that PlayStation 2 era where there's a lot of those weird racing games.
Kinetica, dude.
oh yeah.
Just
It's a weird
bland, all the same hover car racing games.
Every car is fucking Voldo from fucking Soul Calibur. It's weird. It's just Voldo fucking racer, kart racing.
It's like it was trying to catch the nostalgia of playing F-Zero on the Super Nintendo again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, feeling unimpressed by that makes complete sense. It is a remake of a remake. I believe the Wipeout HD is a remake because I was watching video of the original PlayStation game versus Wipeout HD, and Wipeout HD actually looks pretty decent still. But the original PlayStation one, looks like shit. But I mean, it's taking after that really early style of racing where you're just going down the track, taking alternate routes and using weapons. As for like your complaint about like shooting enemies and not feeling it's doing much, I felt that way at first until I started thinking about that different vehicles have different armor and health to them. And so you have to wear them down, which I kind of like because even when you're getting shot, it's not like Mario Kart where you fucking do a backflip and you got to restart.
Right.
It's also similar to being, or instead of you hitting the wall, it's like being hit by a wall.
Yeah.
Because it slows you down when you hit.
Yeah. So you're more inconveniencing them and eventually taking them out where they can respawn. So it feels more like combat racing in that sense. But I get where you're coming from because, like I said, when I was playing it, I was like, I'm shooting people with these fucking missiles. I don't see what the hell's happening. They're not doing anything. They just keep driving. But it's eventually it's like player fucking defeated or whatever the hell because they'll blow up because they all have different amounts of health and shit based off what vehicle you pick. And I really do think the vehicle you're using really dictates how much you can like this game. Because when I picked it up a second time this month, playing it, I was playing like a really shitty vehicle, and I was like, God, I can't fucking control this thing. I hate it. And I was like, wait, I had the same problem the first time I played it. And then I was like going through and I found one I really liked. I'm like, okay, it's like a completely different game now. It's crazy. So, you know, I definitely see the nostalgia in the game, and I think that's the aspect I like about it a lot. But I completely, agree with your opinion on how it could feel mediocre for sure.
It's not bad. It's just bland to me.
Yeah, but I mean that's how I am if I play any game from like an older time. A lot of times, unless it's like a a classic that I love so much. But like a lot of times I'll go back and play a game that's older for like 15 minutes. Go, oh yeah, and then I'm done with it. So just because games now are so much more involved than most games from back in the day, it's easier for me to stay with the game nowadays than revisit an older game. So in this game, you are revisiting an older style game just with a lot of content. I mean, they threw like 3 games worth of shit in this. So, yeah. Anything else you guys want to say on that when it comes to impressions?
No, not really.
No.
Make a Kinetica HD.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd play it, but just make it. I'm curious. All right, let's jump into recommendations. I'll start. If you like racing games, if you like old school racing games, if you played like Rush 64 and shit, the original Wipeout, a lot of those older arcade racers with the alternate routes and stuff, shortcuts, stuff like that, games that really allow for like aggressive driving, check it out. If you like kart racers, I think you would definitely like this, although just remember this is not the same as like hitting them with the shell and knocking them out of the way. This is take them out over time. At a very fast-paced speed. If you liked that pod racer game back on like 64, you might dig this. It kind of has a similar vibe to it. If you like futuristic games, if you like VR games, if you're a really big VR player, this one's always recommended for PlayStation VR as one of the better VR games, and I can back that. I don't think it's the best, but it is an overall solid experience in VR because sometimes VR can feel a little hollow outside of you being there. There ain't much game there. So this is a full game, and it's nice to be able to play the whole thing in VR, and it works really well. It has a lot of options too to cater it to what you want to experience in that. What else? Yeah, nostalgia. If you miss those old school techno soundtrack games where it's just basic fun, it's definitely worth checking out.
I don't think I can add anything.
I feel like I covered most things. I'm not even gonna like stretch it because it's very much what it is. I mean, like if you're not into this game, I wouldn't recommend it to you. If you're like, I'm not really into those old school arcadey, shoot everyone up fucking type games. I mean, if you like Twisted Metal too, you might dig this. It's not, open, but it has a similar thing of like you're in a car shooting people till they die. So
Yeah.
just no clowns,
Yeah, I got nothing.
as far as I know. Chris, anything?
Nope.
You want to throw the kids in there? Great game with the family.
Nope. Kids would not enjoy this. Younger kids would not enjoy this.
Kids will hate this. I recommend parents not touch it. All right, let's jump into grades. I'm dying to know Chris's grade before we start. Well, before me and Chevy go.
Okay. Well, it is, like I said, bland, but not a terrible game. So it's going to be bland, but on a terrible grade, which is just a solid C. Just kind of
Fair.
It's a game. It's playable. It's playable.
It works.
It works.
You press buttons, things happen exactly the way you want them to.
It responds
for the most part.
Yep.
No, I think that's completely fair. Just passing, so nothing negative to say about that. Which has pretty much been your whole impressions on it. Is just
Yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about it, but I've got nothing great to say about it either. It's passing.
Yeah. Chevy.
I'm gonna go with a B-. I do think it is a fun game. Though I do think there's a lot they could do with it to make it a more entertaining game as well. Lots of modern features that could be very easily implemented into the style of gameplay. And I think they could make an even better title out of it in that case. But other than that, I mean, for what it is, I do enjoy it. It's not something I want to play all the time, but I could see myself revisiting it if I was in the mood. Can't really think of any other games like it that I own anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of, it fits into a niche, and sometimes you want to play those niche games. So yeah, B-.
I also really want to give it a B- because that just makes sense to me. But I'm going to go with a B just because the VR aspect of it is really well done. It works really well. They did a good job with it. And when it comes to VR, like I already stressed, and I know the VR thing's not everybody's, experience, but, it does have VR. I played it. And I just got to give it a little extra grade because, like I said, you don't necessarily get these full game experiences in VR. So, and that they were able to do that and do it well and give you a lot of options in VR, which is also rare. Really commendable. So yeah, they squeeze out a B from me just because of that, but B- because it is fun in short doses. There's nothing bad about it, and I enjoyed it enough. I like the soundtrack. I like the visual style of it, and it's a very clean looking game. So it's cool. So B. Anything else you guys want to add?
Nope.
Fuck no. Let us know in the comments. What would you grade it? Did you play this? Did you play the ones in the past? Are you a fan of the series? Are you not a fan of the series? What'd you think of this one? Did you try it in VR? Yeah, did you like it? Did you not like it? Let us know in the comments below. Second game we played, I was about to grab my phone because I already forgot, but I think I can remember now. Second game we played in August was Sniper Elite 4, which in case you did not get a chance to play it, it is a game where you are a sniper who might be elite. This is the fourth one in the series, and this series is pretty much you're a sniper doing missions during World War II against Nazi Germany, and it involves a lot of sniping, a lot of stealth mechanics, a lot of slow-paced gameplay. If you want to play it more stealthy, or fast-paced, actiony gameplay, you can do it that way. And you can kill Hitler in like every single one of the games, so that's always a plus. This one differentiates itself from prior Sniper Elite games in giving you little sandboxes. Each level is like a sandbox that you can have an objective to do, or you do have an objective to do, but there are also side objectives you can choose to do to gain extra XP, which all goes towards buying new weapons, upgrades, which are acquired through using your weapon and hitting certain accolades, and buying other things and leveling up and picking skills and shit. So, sandbox game where you go around sniping Hitler.
You could be pretty snoopy.
I snoop, dude. I'm watching people all day in that game. We all played it this month, And I'm just gonna throw it out there. I played this almost exclusively this month, so I enjoyed myself apparently, or I just really fucking hate myself. I don't know. I started last time, so let's start with Chevy. What were your impressions of Sniper Elite 4?
I had no idea what I was getting to with this game, other than the fact that I remember it as the game with the slow-mo deaths, the X-ray slow-mo deaths.
Yeah.
So that was my expectation going into this game. So fortunately, I didn't have a good or bad opinion. I just got to experience the game.
You got to find out.
Yeah. So the one thing I think, and you said this to me, and I really think it works, is that it kind of is reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid 5, where you have that sandbox, you can approach it however you want.
Sandbox gameplay, you can do it how you want, and there's no story.
Yeah, pretty much. So
Metal Gear Solid 5, no fucking story. Anyway,
it took me the one thing that took me a little bit when I first started is the controls are a little odd, but they make sense once you get used to them. So it's not a knock. It's just it took me a second.
they are different, but they work.
Yeah, they work. Other than that, I think it has pretty good gameplay mechanics. I do think the sniping was obviously, and it should be because it's in the name, very well done. You can pick all sorts of different types of rifles and scopes, and it's got a pretty cool system where like when you hold your breath, it'll have this ring kind of locked down, and you know, and if you hold your breath too long, it screws you all up. So, but the game doesn't force you to do that. You can do stealth kills by going up, knifing people, or you can just go in and start shooting everyone up, you know, as if you were just going completely commando about the whole thing. So the choices is great. I always appreciate that in a game. And as someone who doesn't generally play a lot of shooters, I like the pace of this game quite a bit.
I could see that because you can really just kind of like lay there in a bush and fucking wait, or like shoot a guy from like a mile away or something.
When you could just clear out an entire encampment if you're patient enough. And so the only thing that I found out kind of the hard way with this game is playing that way slows down the gameplay a lot, and the maps are pretty large. And I think the first mission, because I was just kind of learning how to play the game and going really slow, I ended up taking me like an hour and a half or something like that. So
Yeah, you told me that. That's fucking wild. You're really just kind of tasting that level, savoring
well,
it.
a lot of it too was me just kind of like figuring out like what to do in that game. Side objectives, like you said, it also has collectibles, so you can find like random like letters that people are writing to their family or to like other generals and stuff like that. And so there is little things you can pick up and read and kind of get a little extra. I hate to use the word lore, but lore essentially into that game.
I'm just gonna say it. Outside of this is World War II and you're killing Nazis, I have no fucking idea what's going on in the game.
Yeah, and
I did not pay attention.
I'm in the
to
same
story.
boat, but there is that extra taste in there for people who want
That guy started going. I was like, okay, and I started playing the game. Like, let me just shoot shit.
I also appreciate that you have other tools besides guns and stuff. As when me and you played, there was the vehicle part where we were able to set up like landmines in the road and actually take out a vehicle that way.
There's a bunch of tools, and there's multiple ways to use them, which is really interesting. Even like first aid kits, you can heal yourself, or you can use them to stabilize yourself so you can chill the fuck out faster.
I didn't know that part.
Yeah.
I did see those trip mines. I wanted to use them. I kept forgetting to try them.
There's also a flare gun. You can shoot it, and wherever it lands, fucking artillery hits there. When I did that mission that me and you did with that vehicle, that's how I took it out.
Oh, okay.
Is I shot a flare up its ass.
Well, I mean, I really, like I said,
Did you buy it a drink first? Shit.
No.
emphasizes the
I rushed it.
ability to play how you want. So
Yeah.
really the only thing I kind of want to add to this, because I feel like I'm just kind of rambling at this point, is it does have multiplayer that you can play with someone. So you, and the same missions as you play single player. So you can play, like I played the first mission by myself, played the second mission with Seth, and I had a completely different experience, but both were fun. So
It's way different with a person.
Yeah,
For
way
sure.
different.
I was not prepared for Chevy to fucking unload on people like fish in a barrel. I was like trying to get my like shot in perfect, and I'm like just fucking taking in the scene and thinking about it, and the show's just like just unloading into people. I'm like, fuck, okay. I start shooting too. I'm like, I guess we're going at it. Or I'd be up close, like with a knife, getting ready to like fucking stick it in someone, and all of a sudden, like it would just instantly transport me to an X-ray shot.
That's a little jarring.
Yeah, you're so far away, I can't even hear your shot. But all of a sudden, like I'm sneaking up behind a dude, and then it goes, and it shows a fucking bullet. I'm like, whoa, and it goes, just ripping through dude's fucking head. I'm like, okay, and then like it comes back to me. I'm like behind the guy with the knife again. I'm like.
Super satisfying, by the way, though.
That system?
Yeah.
Not fucking executing that when I'm mid gameplay, when I've been playing the game alone for so long. Or sometimes it's like it does. There's also online multiplayer where you can go against people, and I fuck people up in that because they're not good. And it has a similar system where if you get like a really good shot and hit someone in the head, it will give you. You're online, so like you're against people, so it can't take too long. But like it does do a quick like it'll show their hand, watch the bullet fly through and shit. So that's kind of satisfying too. Like when you're playing online,
yeah.
And you see a dude's scope shine, and you shoot them like right through their eye, and just get that quick like zoom in, and then it throws you right back. So.
Well, and then you get like points for like hitting certain parts of the body too. So like
you get experience
the
for everything.
are really good.
Yeah.
So.
They're awesome. Yeah, you can shoot grenades. They'll fucking blow up. You get points for that specific thing. You can shoot people in the fucking testicles. You get points for that specific thing.
Yeah, shot that guy in the shoulder, and you're like, "How did that kill him?" I was like, "I'm pretty sure it hit a grenade."
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. And then eye shots is like my thing. I'm fucking shooting people in the eye all the time apparently. Jaw shots are like really disgusting to watch because you're watching their jaw cave in and their teeth fucking fly into their face. And you're just like, okay. Yeah, there's all sorts of crazy things. I mean, you can shoot, I think you can shoot people's weapons. Yeah.
And their testicles.
Yeah. So there's a lot of really cool details. Plus, I don't know if they added this in the third one or not. I barely played that one, so I wasn't a big fan of that. But, when grenades go off, you'll actually see X-ray of that, which is really fun, cool to see. They added X-ray to a lot of things. Even when you sneak up behind someone with a knife, it'll show an X-ray when you stab them. It's really fucked up. So they just added more X-ray, and I don't think anybody. I mean, that was the draw to V2.
Right.
Was that X-ray system, which was awesome, and it still is. I play the game for fucking hours this month, and I'm still not bored of that shit.
Right.
But yeah, do you have any more impressions?
No, if you guys say something that sparks something, I'll chip in. So,
all right, Chris.
As many of you know, I'm not much of a fan of shooting games, but this one does everything mechanically so well that I found myself really, really enjoying it. Like you said, you can go about these missions any way you damn well please. I was the sneaky bastard. But I do enjoy the mechanic that if you are caught and they triangulate your position, if you can get out of sight, it shows you a little ghost shadow of your last known location, and you can actually play around that. So luring people into traps, which I actually got points for, into luring someone else to come investigate a body that I'd placed somewhere. But I found myself not rushing through this and actually trying to experience the whole thing, and I killed every single person on the map that I could. I left no survivors.
I got to a couple points where I was about to beat the level, and I was like, I'm not done here. And I just go back and start killing everybody.
Like MMOs, it does have all these side missions, and I, just like in MMOs, did all the side missions first. I felt the incessant need to go through and clear out all these little side missions and find all the little parchments of paper and stuff like that, which I might add, the immersion from the pieces of notes that you get is really sometimes intense, because you find notes of Martha, I know I'm going to die. I love you very much. You're a great businesswoman. And I've always kind of played that down, just be careful with your money and I love you. I'm just oh, I shot that fucker. Okay.
Yeah, you got way more out of it than I did. I didn't read any of that shit. I was like, I'm not reading this. There's Nazis to shoot.
Right. And like when you're spotting people in the game, if you continue to spot them or you continue to zoom in on them after you spotted them, you get little bits of information like what's their name, what their rank is, what weapon they're holding, and like weird little tidbits about them. Like one of them was like thinks he's gonna die here, or believes that this general so and so is the Satan himself. But it's just there's so much involved in just a level that the immersion level is really nice. And I found myself really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome to hear. That's the interesting thing about this game is like it's a shooter technically, but I don't like it's not. So my experience playing this game, I've played all of them at some point or another. Played V2 quite a bit. Played 3 for a second, didn't like it. 4, I think, is way better, way smarter direction they've went in. And the thing that I like about the most is the freedom of being able to do what you want to do. But I also think that this game is a really, and this is rare because there's not a whole lot of them, this is a really competent stealth game. It's got really good mechanics, like you're saying with the triangulation system. Even if you shoot somebody from a distance, they typically, like in real life, don't know where the fuck that came from. Because when you get shot at from a distance, there's no way to go, oh, it was to the west.
He's behind the rock.
Yeah, a lot of games, they just start attacking you. They know, like, oh, now you've turned on, action mode, and they come after you. And then, if you shoot a second time, they will typically be able to kind of figure out where you're at. And it'll leave, like, a shadow of where you were when you took that shot. And again, you're not completely fucked. That just means you need to move because they're going to start moving in that direction. And they don't even just rush there directly. Sometimes they will, but a lot of times they'll like make their way there. They'll take cover, stuff like that.
Cover to cover, yeah.
Because they're trying to figure out where the sniper's at because you're playing a sniper. And these systems are all really cool. It really, and even like the AI for them spotting you is fair. I mean, like sometimes it's cheesy, but every stealth game you'll have that point where the guy's just staring right in your direction and doesn't see you somehow, or you're laying right at his feet and he doesn't see you, some weird shit. It's impossible to do that 100%. But a lot of times, like, I'd be out in a field and fucking a car would be coming by and I'd like lay down right behind like a really low like rock or like some bushes and they wouldn't see me. And it's nice that that there's enough work put into the stealth in the game that you can on the fly find a way to hide pretty quickly, and the game's completely fair about it. Because some games, even to this day, will have systems where you're just like, you're either in the shadows or you're not. If you're in the shadows, you can't be seen unless you make a noise, and if you're out of the shadows, you can be seen. And that's typically the stealth system. And yeah, I found myself mostly playing this game like I would like a Metal Gear Solid. I was like hanging off of cliff sides, fucking just kind of moving across. I'd stab a dude and throw him off the cliff, or when you're behind cover, you can whistle or you can throw rocks, which I love because whistling is essentially like a Metal Gear Solid. When you knock on the wall, they come to you. If you throw a rock, they go to that. I was using that constantly, and you can attack people from behind cover, which I really appreciate when a game allows me to do that because I don't want to get out of cover to kill the guy. It makes sense to kill him, pull him over, and it does that. There's silenced weapons. There's also There's a pistol that's silenced that's shit, but you can get like suppressors that break.
And silent ammo.
Or ammo, yeah. It's not suppressor, but it's the ammo, and you run out of it. And so I bought a bunch of pistol silenced ammo, and most of my kit was that because I liked walking around with that pistol. I wasn't even sniping really a whole lot, except for in situations where I needed to. But a lot of times I was doing up close shit. Like I said, I played this game like a stealth game. And I really dig that. There's a lot of dynamic shit going on too, more so than prior games. One of the levels, some rebels show up in the middle of the mission and they just get into a fucking fight with the Nazis. You can join them if you want, or you can use it to your advantage, or you can just go right the hell past it. And they'll eventually, one side will kill the other after a bunch of fighting. Also, it brings back the sound system. If something makes a loud enough sound, you can mask your bullets. It's a really cool system. I love that. And it's very random. You can't just expect it. It's not like a plane flies over 5 minutes. It's just like when you hear the plane, you're like, fuck, I got to take the shot. Or if you're already in position, it's just kind of like, great happenstance that it's there at the time. You can take that shot. And it can be completely masked. It adds a great dynamic aspect. There's also things you can turn on that will make sound. So there's a lot of systems in place to play this game like a fucking ghost if you want. There's also machine guns. There's also pistols and sniper rifles, rifles that shoot faster than the other sniper rifles, and so you could run and gun in this game if you want to. I tested that a couple times. I just grabbed my machine gun, ran, and started shooting people. And even though the recoil on them is fucking insane, this game is Sniper Elite, not fucking Machine Gun Massacre. So like it is very much, very much, you use the fucking machine gun if you need to, but it's not awesome. With controlled shots, you can do pretty good with it. But if there's a group of like 5 guys running at you and you're fucking just shooting all over the fucking place, you're not gonna do too well. So it really incentivizes you to go about things smart. There's a bunch of tools in the game. They're really fun to use. They're helpful as fuck, but they're also really fun to use. I found myself using them a lot and getting creative, because when I say this game is a sandbox, it's not just a sandbox in the sense that you can go any direction and figure out what you want to do and how you want to do it, but it allows you with tools to get creative in the way you want to take certain things out. In those missions where you got to like take out certain objectives, and some of them, you might go up to and hold the button down and dismantle them, or you might set up some stuff and blow it up later, or you might just snipe it across the fucking map. And you can do that, but it's going to make noise. So like there's all these different... Every time I play any map, it always feels different, even though it's the same map. There's enough different routes to go, there's enough different ways to play, and there's enough dynamic things happening that even if I try to do the exact same thing as last time, there's a good chance that something might go different, and now I'll have to adapt to the situation. Also, every level is varied, very varied. They're all different feeling, which is great. Storyline-wise, I have no fucking idea. I didn't pay attention to that shit. I was just like, I just want to shoot stuff. I just want to see the X-ray. That shit's awesome. And in this, it's great. It's better than it's been, and it's always been great. Like so, there's more opportunities to see the X-ray, and I love it. It's the perfect balance, because anymore it would just be X-ray fucking the game. Like everything would just be like you take a step and it just shows a zoom in of your foot, fucking bones. Like, ooh, you're gonna fuck your ankle up if you keep walking too much. And also, there's some things about this game that people don't realize. This game will actually come up a lot of times on like best tactical games of like recent times, because if you turn this game onto like realistic pro, or the fuck it's called,
a lot of difficulty options.
Yeah, but if you turn on to the hardest difficulty, you don't have a HUD, you don't have fucking anything, you don't get the slowdown breathing system, you don't get a reticle, and you actually have to figure out how far somebody is, dial it into your scope, adjust your scope, and wind is actually a factor, and gravity. So you have to actually like be like a pro fucking sniper. I tried it. I'm a jet pilot, but I'm not a fucking pro sniper at all. That ain't my shit. So, I would like fucking be holding my sniper rifle. I'm just like trying to...
I like how it's the Japanese bows.
Trying to get the wind, and I'm trying to arc my shot. And I pull the trigger, and I go... And the guy was like, what the fuck? And I'm like, I didn't even hit him? Where'd it go?
Where's the bullet?
That scared me. That like really made me impressed with snipers in real life. I'm like, they hit things. My bullet went somewhere. I don't know whose house it went through, but fucking they do. That's their fucking problem now. I just sent it. So it's really kind of crazy that this game is like a fun sandbox game that I think anyone could play. Early recommendation, but also a sniper elite ass fucking experience if you want it. I mean, like it's really intense, and the AI gets better too, and the damage of the bullets gets higher, which I prefer. I actually went into the custom a couple times and kind of like gave myself some of the fun tools of being able to slow down and get that like holding your breath reticle, which I really dig. But then upped the bullet damage and upped the AI, because I like the AI, being smarter and faster and more reactive. Co-op was fun. It worked just fine.
Yeah, it worked perfectly.
It's actually really fun. When we played, I was really tired, so I wasn't talking as much as I could have. Yeah, we were both just kind of like sitting there, and I would just get scared when you shot. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I have a Pro Controller too. Quick note, if you had the same problem. And I have these little things you can pull up in the triggers that will make the triggers only move a little bit. And that's, for like in Call of Duty or something, you want a hair trigger, so you want to be faster.
This is relevant with the Xbox Elite controller as well.
Yeah, pretty much any Pro Controller. And so when I went to aim, my gun would aim, but I'd never go down scope. And I was like, what the fuck? Why in multiplayer can I not go down scope. It's because this game needs you to pull the trigger down further to register that you're down scope. It's weird that it allows you to aim, just not down your scope. So I couldn't hit shit either. It's weird. I was like aiming directly at people, but maybe it's because I wasn't looking down the scope, so maybe I wasn't hitting accurately. I have no idea. But but that was like really annoying. But Chevy looked it up, and that was the issue, so I just turned that off, and it worked perfectly fine. Also, I think it's cool that they incorporated the X-ray system into multiplayer. It's a lot less often, but that makes sense because you got 2 people shooting, so you'd be getting X-rays all fucking day with 2 people shooting shit. And it's the same experience. It's just with another person. You can do everything you can do in single player, multiplayer. So, if you want to play this game with someone, you can do it and have the same experience just with a friend, which I think is really cool. I want to play it more just because I think there's a lot of things you could do. You could probably get really creative with those tools you already have in the game with 2 people. You could probably do some really crazy shit. So it was fun and cool. And then, like I said, I played online versus people. It's completely competent. It's really neat because there's a bunch of game modes or whatever, but I did pretty much death matches, and its pace is completely different than what you would expect from like a lot of online versus shooters because everyone's got a sniper rifle. You can run around with a fucking machine gun, and actually I got a lot of kills with that thing because people weren't expecting it. Some guy would be watching with his scope, but I would just pop up with a machine gun and unload on him. Like, the fuck out of here.
Oh, hello there.
Surprise.
And then I see someone rushing across a yard at me, and I just pop up with a machine gun and just drop him. I'm like, I'm not going to aim. I'm just going to fucking shoot you. But then other times, I'm like laying there for a while, and it's creepy because you're just looking across this multiplayer map, and there's just nobody. And you're just sitting there, and you're like, I don't want to peek up because I don't know if they know where I'm at or not. And every once in a while, you see out in the distance just some guy on the ground come out of a bush, and he's just slowly crawling across the ground. And I just slightly move over, and I fucking pull my gun up and was watching him. And I'm getting that shot on his head. And the whole time I'm like, oh god, someone's gonna fucking see me. I fucking pull the trigger, drop him, and I get behind the wall again. And then instantly in the distance, I see 2 fucking flashes of scopes. I'm like, ugh. And then I see the scope go away, and I pop up and I try and find them real quick, and then they're looking at me, and we're fucking just popping shots at each other and shit. It's really fun. But it's definitely, you gotta be in the mood for that. If you're just wanting to get in the game and shoot people, you're gonna do it in this, but you're gonna take your time. I mean, I got I got top kills pretty often, and it was 10 to 12 kills. It's not very many, but people under me had 4. So it's that pace of when you get a kill, you had to fucking earn it because you can't just pop up and start shooting at people because everybody's going to aim at you. So it's all about positioning and creeping around stuff. I think a little bit of my older DayZ fucking days came into play when I played that. Yeah, it also has, I really want to try it. There's a sniper and spotter mode, which is 2-player. One person plays your spotter, the other person's the sniper. I think that's fucking neat. Didn't try it, but I want to. And there's a couple other multiplayer modes, and there's a bunch of maps and a bunch of shit. I mean, this game's got a lot of stuff to it. There's a lot of shit going on in this game. It's really easy for me, especially this whole week, or not this whole week. This whole month's been fucking really hectic at work. We've went on a trip. It's been busy or whatever. This game's been very easy for me to just sit down, continue from where I was at, and start shooting shit, and not have to worry about storyline, where I'm at in the game, what did I do with my skill points last time and shit. It's just pretty straightforward and gameplay that I really enjoy. So I obviously really dug it. I have a lot to say about it. I could probably keep going, but we should probably move into recommendations. Otherwise we'll be here all night. Anything else you guys want to add?
No.
No? Chris Styles, mediocre. The most mediocre Nazi killing I've ever done. Let's start with Chris.
Oh.
It's for the kids.
If you kids, no, I would not recommend this for kids. Not because of gameplay, although I think gameplay would be a little above them. Just probably no.
It's violent as fuck. As fuck.
Yeah.
It's very gory.
They might have some issues with the gore. Yeah.
It's pretty fucked up. Shooting dude through his ear and watching the bullet travel through his brain is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And watching the brain deflate. I'm like, it's not a balloon.
Yeah. I would say anybody who enjoys games where you can have the options to be tactical, or guns ablazing, both people would enjoy this game. I think specifically more people are looking more for a slower paced tactical game shooter would really enjoy this. I don't want to get too crazy, but like I mean, yeah, slow paced, sneaky shooter games. It's really good.
All right, I'm gonna take over this.
Sorry,
All right,
I'm struggling.
it's fine. If you like Hitman, you'll probably like this. If you like Metal Gear Solid 5, you'll probably like this. Not storyline wise, but gameplay wise.
Yeah.
If you like Silent Scope from back in the day, you'll probably dig this. If you like Splinter Cell, you'll probably dig this. It's very similar in certain ways. If you like stealth games in general, you'll probably dig this game. If you like sniping games in general, you'll probably dig this game. Although I hate to say sniping games, because what is that? They're Silent Scope, and I used to love those games, but it's past its fucking time. You can't have a game like that anymore. Hitman had that weird sniper mode before the game came out. I was like, what the fuck is that? If you like action games, if you like third-person shooters, this is definitely worth checking out. If you like Mortal Kombat and the gore in it, for the gore, this game would be worth checking out because it has a pretty similar system to Mortal Kombat and the X-rays that you see. If you really like that fucking crunch and the blood and all that stuff, you're going to get the same experience with this game, except for with a gun. Yeah, if you like World War II games, definitely worth checking out. I mean, it's one of the only ones out nowadays. So, and I'm a big World War II buff, and I'm a big World War II game fan, or was until Battlefield 5 came out. And I'm just slightly attacking people as I'm talking. If you like games with progression but low like investment, I know it's kind of a weird way to put it, but like this game you can get a lot out of, but not have to put a lot into it. You can just kind of hop in, have fun, and hop out at any time. It auto saves your progress. And you just kind of level and you unlock shit, and it just gets better and better and better as you play it. Also, if you like online multiplayer, it's got a bunch of modes. If you like co-op, this game has co-op, and it's really good. It's pretty much a really good all-around for anybody who likes offline and online third-person shooting, World War II action and sniping, and stealth. So if you're like really into like Need for Speed, I would still say check this game out. But I mean, there's no reason you should be making that connection.
Yeah.
Or playing Need for Speed.
There's a new one coming
Play
out.
Forza Horizon 4. Fuck's your problem.
Just slowly attacking everybody as you go.
It's good. It's a good game. I'm not attacking the people who made Forza Horizon 4. That's a good game.
Except for the sneaky ads.
That's just Xbox games. Hey, you're playing this game, right? Would you like to buy something? No. Get out of here.
Get off my loading screen.
Yeah, I'm just trying to play this game, dude.
I mean, you pretty much said most of it. I just want to emphasize it's a single player game. It's a co-op game. It's a versus game. Like it has everything. Game has a lot of choices when you're playing it. So, you just really just would have to not want to shoot a gun in a game to not play this. I think there is a little something for everyone. So,
but you don't have to shoot a gun to play this game. Can kill everybody with a knife.
But what if they're like that movie about that medic pacifist who's like, I'll never hold a gun. I'll never shoot nobody.
I only play Journey, all right?
I wonder if there is a way to make it through the game without killing anybody.
I don't know. Most of the objectives are just like, go destroy this, hold a button.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if there's a main objective that's assassinate someone. Most of them are just like, go through the door.
The first mission, you have to take out the general.
First mission, you gotta kill the guy.
I don't know. The first mission, I'm level 16. Been playing the game. I've been gone.
Curious though. Huh.
Maybe you could get them to kill themselves. Although I would say morally, that's still pretty much the same thing as killing them.
Yeah.
If you call them up and be like, you should fucking do it. He's like, I'm gonna do it. You're like, you should fucking do it. I think it's about the same as pulling that trigger. Pretty close. All these Nazis. Fuck them. I don't care. I'm feeling spunky today. Any other recommendations?
I do think everybody should give this a try. I think everybody can find something enjoyable with this game.
I think it's a good one too.
There's enough difficulty settings too that I like your play style or skill level even in that
it's pretty much irrelevant.
Is irrelevant. Mm-hmm. You can find a mode to find enjoyment out of this game.
They really covered all their bases with that for sure.
So if you want that ridiculously hard experience, like you said, you can have it. If there's a setting that literally pretty much makes the game where you can walk through it, you can do that too. Like
Yeah, their like sight will be like a lot closer, and they're a lot slower reflex wise. And
Everybody left their glasses at home. They all need a nap.
we are out here without our glasses. I cannot see anything. Hopefully, the snipers don't come.
Plural.
Well, co-op.
Yeah.
Game's got it. Yeah, I think that's all. I mean, I agree. Unless you're just like, I only like Wipeout. Do you shoot shit in this too?
Who's that person?
Somebody. I guarantee this one
Who
fucking
are
person.
you?
I
Yes.
guarantee this one fucking person. We went to Vegas and they had a fucking Coca-Cola store. And I walked in and I'm like, who the hell's buying Coca-Cola merch? Then, like 2 days later, I saw a list of like top 5 weird fandoms. And Coca-Cola is one of them. So I was like, well,
Coca-Cola's a big one.
guess I'm not in the loop. So if those people exist,
That's that
Wipeout.
Americana thing, though.
That's probably one of the most accurate things you ever said. I agree. See, I'm even attacking Chevy slightly. Although you're right. Fucking that is kind of like that old, like, if you're into like that 1950s America, you probably be into
It's
Coca-Cola
Mike.
and shit. Yeah, yeah. If you're Mike, you're probably buying all the Coca-Cola shirts. That's another zinger. Got him. All right, let's grade it. Who graded first last time?
I
Chris
did.
did.
Chris did.
Let's go with Chevy this time.
I think the game offers too much that even any problems I have with it are kind of irrelevant, to be honest. So I have to give it A minus. You're getting too much bang for your buck, and in this case, it was a month PlayStation Plus. So hard to argue. I think the game is easily worth $60, and
You don't have to be into shooters to
you
enjoy
don't
it.
have to be in shooters, and it offers a play style for everybody. You want to verse people, go for it. You want to play with your buddies, go for it. You don't have friends, go for it. Yeah.
I'm cold and dead to the world, so I'm gonna fucking. I can't even fucking do
Some
it.
people do not play multiplayer, so and
Yeah.
they don't have to.
I'm saying they're gonna be a ghost, play by themselves. That's what I did. I don't got friends. I have zero. None of them.
I talked to you two and the
I don't-
fiance. And
I don't
that's
know
it.
who you are. You guys. I'm going after everyone tonight.
That's it. I know where you live.
This
Better
is
watch
true.
yourself.
It's true. So A minus.
Yeah, we've talked about the game so much at this point. I think the reasons are out there. So
Yeah, for sure. Chris.
I'm also going to give it an A minus. I found myself immensely enjoying this game. At first, I was like, okay, here we go, shooter game. But as I got into it, I was more and more like enthralled by like, okay, I got to do everything and kill everyone and be sneaky about it the whole fucking time. I had so much fun, and I'll probably go back and play this again and again. To be
Yeah, I'm not
honest.
uninstalling it. I really
Yeah.
liked it. So.
Yeah.
So 2 A minuses. Also shout out to, I think it was like earlier in the month, I creep around on the PlayStation Plus subreddit, and if you're watching this from there, hope you're enjoying the conversation. Hopefully you're talking to us on Reddit as well. Let us know your opinions on this game and the other one, whatever that was. But somebody like 2 weeks in was like, is anybody else actually enjoying this game as more than they thought they would? And they're talking about Sniper Elite 4, and I was like, apparently that's just like a general thing. I don't think people really realize. But I mean, I played 3 and I was like, yeah, it's V2, except for I don't like the setting. And I played this, I was like, oh, that ain't bad.
Oh.
They fixed some shit. That being said, I was actually gonna give this a B plus, only because there's no story for me. I mean, there is, and Chris fucking read some shit that was fucked up.
he read
But,
that person's story.
Yeah. I didn't do that, so maybe that's my own fault. That being said, that's why I'm going to up it. You guys convinced me to do an A minus as well, just because the gameplay is fun. It's just fun. And I can't stress it enough every time I run to a game like that. Sometimes you just got to have fucking fun playing a video game. And it's a weird thing to say, but a lot of games are not too worried about that. They're just worried about impressing you. And that also is great. I love that. But at the same time, sometimes I want to play a game where I'm like, man, I fucking enjoy everything that I'm doing and I want to keep going because this game's just
EDF.
exactly. Fucking Earth Defense Force is one of those games. Gives a shit what's going on. Well, I kind of do because that game's crazy as fuck. Someone wrote that story. But there's frog people in the newest one. But that game's a blast. This game's a blast, and this game is not that fucking they're not comparable. One game's really fucking batshit crazy. This one is just like kill the Nazis. It's fun. I'm like, okay,
You're right.
Yeah. You're 100% correct. You did not lie. And in 2019, when it comes to developers, I appreciate that, and publishers. I like not being lied to. So yeah, Sniper Elite 4, giving it an A-. Really fun game. Game I recommend everyone check out and play with your buddy. Because it's the same experience with more shooting.
Or chaos.
More creeping around. Yeah. Double the creep.
My inability to aim that night was making Seth have to run around and...
Dude, I was speed sniping because fucking you'd fire a shot and look over and the guy would be like, what the fuck? I'm like, shit. I'm like,
I was having a rough time that night.
Just taking heads off real quick. I'm like, fuck, I got to drop these guys before they go crazy.
We're just going to send Chevy in as the distraction with bells tied to him. Look at me, and you can just take out anyone who comes at him.
I should learn to sleep some and be a little more alert when I'm playing games.
There's a couple times where I was like creeping around, I was taking people out, and Chevy's just like, haha, that was funny looking. Haha, he's just like commenting on me. And then I hear a gunshot. I look back. He's like 10 feet behind me, behind a wall, just shooting at people like 5 feet away from him. Just like boom, boom, boom. I'm like, fuck. It's like I didn't realize we're going out of stealth. Like I didn't communicate it either, though. I was just like, okay, we're gonna do stealth. I didn't say shit. And then Chevy's like, I'm gonna kill these guys. And he started doing that, and you were doing it. But I was like, oh shit, we did not have a plan. I thought it was just kind of a fucking given that I was creeping. Even at one point, we're like looking at like this general dude and like 6 guys, and I'm like watching and I'm studying all of them. I'm like, we could do those 4 dudes easily, but then the 2 guys will do something. And Chevy's just creeping closer. He's like, I could shoot this guy. I'm like, I'm sure you can. Hold on a second. He's like, that guy's right there. We could shoot him and blow him up. I'm like, we could, but I want to see if we can do this as silent as possible. And we almost did. There's like one guy who went, oh, and then we killed him. But so technically it was a ghost kill. But it was just funny. Chevy's just getting closer with his rifle, and the whole time I'm just like, hold on a second. Hold on. I know you want to. He's like, that guy we could shoot. And I'm like, we could shoot them all.
There's also the one point where we were both coming from, it was like a couple houses or whatever. We were coming from opposite ends. And I ended up dropping down and getting a knife kill, but someone saw me for a second, so I got behind the wall. They came out, and I had to run up and knife them, and then someone heard that, and I just like 6 people in a row just kept coming around the building. I was like,
yeah, I was over in the woods. There's 3 dudes over in the woods, and I was like doing like straight up fucking Splinter Cell shit. I was like watching one smoking while I was in the bush 2 feet away from him, and then the other guy's over there. And as soon as he turned his back, I popped his boy fucking in the head with a silenced gun, and then I ran up behind the guy and knifed him. And I'm like behind the wall, and the guy's like sitting there, the other 3rd dude, and he like turns and starts walking. So I walk around the building, make a noise, and whistle. He starts coming my way. I go the opposite around behind him, fucking take him out. I'm like, oh, I stealth killed like 3 dudes. And Sherry's like, I stealth killed like 6. I'm like, oh, okay. And he's like, they just kept coming around the corner. I'm like, ugh, I just need to do that. Just stay in one spot and go.
It was really stressful because I was just like, fuck, I'm just gonna get made here. Yeah. And then just kept coming around the corner. I was like,
They're like lining up. One guy falls down. He's like, wait, what happened? And the guy behind him was like, what happened? What's behind that corner? Let's find out.
A fucking knife.
Did you find out what's up around that corner? Oh, no, I'm next in line. Hold on.
Look around that corner. It's sharp.
So just,
It was dumb.
Yeah. It's fun, though.
Yes.
It's fun. Anything else you guys want to say on that? All A-. Really high. Higher than I thought we'd go.
Me too. But, talking about it and kind of rethinking about the experiences I had with it. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about it. So.
Yeah. And all the weaknesses of it, I think, are pretty easily overlooked. Sometimes there's some weird glitch stuff that happens every once in a while, not very often. But and the game is slightly stiff. You can tell it's a smaller development team. But you overlook it because the game's just so fun to play, and it's not bad.
I have to bring up EDF at the point where I can play a game where like I shoot a spider and the physics engine goes, that's gonna go straight in the air like 700 feet real quick. Yeah. Like, bye. I didn't use an explosive. Why are you doing that?
Everything in that game goes every direction. You shoot buildings and they'll go, woo! I'm like, okay. Don't see that in games.
That damn thing collapse. Just
We need to play that one. Is that on our list? If it's not, we need to throw it
It'll
on.
be on there, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously we could talk about this game all night.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments what you think of Sniper Elite 4. I'm going to guess you liked it. I really feel like most people probably dug this game. Let us know if you liked it. If you didn't like it, did you play the prior games? Did you play 3? I played it. I wasn't a big fan of it. It's weird. I loved V2. I love this one. But 3 was kind of weird. It's kind of linear feeling. Yeah, did you play online? Did you do the versus? Did you do the co-op? What difficulty did you play? I dabbled in all of them, and I liked like around hard to like the pro area, but like the extra pro one, not for me. Like I said, I fly jets, not fucking shoot
Not
people in
sniper
real life.
rifles.
Yeah, I just don't
Can't
do
fly
that.
those.
And yeah, let us know everything you're thinking about when it comes to Wipeout, Omega Collection, and Sniper Elite 4. But that's going to do it for this episode of Plus Club on Taste of the Gaming. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Taste of the Gaming. Check out my streams, link down below. And Chris's stream on Twitch. Chris hasn't been on all fucking month. I forgot.
Also linked down below.
Link down below. I'm probably start saying that because I'm on Mixer and Twitch and fucking YouTube, so you can watch me wherever. Chris is on Twitch as well, Tasty_fruit, Tasty Senpai, all one word. And yeah, we got a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all time, and we're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us with your fucking ears that don't get shot at by snipers.
your nose.
Yes. I hear the sound waves. I smell them. I like to smell TLG through my nose, through the speakers. And yeah, another quick reminder that Game of the Month is right around the corner, so make sure to stick around for that. We'll be talking about the game we played. What was it?
Ori
and the Blind Forest. I know Keith is stoked on that, and Shelly will be picking our Game of the Month for next month, so stay tuned for that as well. But yeah, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
Until next episode, which is right around the corner, have a good night, guys, and take it easy.